And so Nanny was a movie that actually premiered a little bit over a year ago at the Sundance Film Festival, and it won the Grand Jury Prize, which was the first time that a horror movie ever won that award at the Sundance Film Festival. So it had a lot of heat behind it. Eventually, it had a limited theatrical release, and then ultimately Amazon Studios acquired the distribution rights and released the film widely and made it publicly available on Prime Video this past December. So this is something that we've checked out and we've been meaning to get to it to talk about it and review it officially. So with all of that out the way, man, I'll pass it over to you. What were your thoughts on the film Nanny?
Man, I remember seeing some kind of ad for this somewhere, and it made me excited to see one Anna Diop, who I've been watching, I guess more accurately in Titans, be Starfire, star in a horror film. Especially Prime Video has been up and down when it comes to movies like this. You know, we reviewed Master, what was that, a year or so ago, maybe a little over a year or so ago, and some other films they've been coming out with. They've been kind of trying to dip their toe in this horror thing, man. So I was glad to see that this movie existed, and even more importantly that it was shot and directed by a Black woman. I thought that was really dope, to hear. And in watching it, man, it's fine, it's okay. It's a very patient film. Sometimes I think it's a little bit too patient for me. It takes a while to get started. And I think when it does get started, I enjoy it. And there are things and ideas about it that I like because just like, we were talking about Sharper before, which is like multiple things kind of wrapped in one. This movie is also a love story mixed with a drama, mixed with a horror, kind of all wrapped up in it. And there are things I think about the story that again I find intriguing. There's this woman. She's from Senegal. She is a nanny now in New York, but her son is not able to come to the United States yet. One, she needs money. Two, she needs time. She needs all these things to prepare to get her son ready to come over to the States. And I really like the way that the film depicts of those ideas haunting her, the ideas of abandoning her child and all these other things that come into her life. I like those ideas, but again, something about it felt too far and in between. It really takes like 30 minutes for us to figure out what's going on in the movie. I was like, because to be 30 minutes past, I was like, where's the horror at? Did I miss something? Is what's going on? But again, it finally rolls around and becomes a fine movie by the end of it. But I think I did, although I think it is a fine movie, I did leave, I think, a little disappointed in what I thought was being sold to me, I think, as a horror film. Which is fine. I think my expectations were just different and they changed. But it's one of those movies that I think if you know what you're getting yourself into, you probably like it more, or you probably enjoy it more. But I think me just not knowing or me expecting something different shifted a little bit. So I was looking for more horror at the end of the day. I really wanted some more. If you're gonna be metaphorical, which this movie very much is with its horror, if you're gonna be metaphorical, maybe give us just a little bit more. I think through line and understanding about the story that you're trying to tell. And I didn't think I really got all of that by the end of the film. I think Anna Diop is tremendous. I think she killed it. To be honest, she has some really good acting chops and moments in this movie that I enjoyed. But this is another one of those movies I feel like you could have told us or gave us a little bit more to chew on as an audience. But again, that being said, it's a pretty fine movie. I enjoyed it. It's another one of those ones. It's just something about today's world where it's shot pretty well. I liked a lot of the things that I was seeing. I just wish it was a little more saturated in the horror tone that it was trying to convey.
Prime Video has really been leaning into this element of horror. It's a very specific subgenre, which leans more into the psychological, leans more into the parallels that are drawn on social issues and commentary that we talk about a lot. It's partially a result of the Jordan Peele effect, I would say. And in addition to that, Blumhouse has had a long-standing deal with Prime Video, and so this is another feature project that's a part of that deal. And so coming into it, again, all the ingredients are there. I think the big ideas that this movie is attempting to challenge are worthwhile. It is an immigrant story, and it is a story that's sort of a meditation on motherhood as well, and just sort of the effects of what that looks like, and servitude for a rich, wealthy white family in New York City. There's all these really, really interesting things there. And I watched this movie a month ago at this point, and I find it even hard now to recall exactly what happened, which I do think is unfortunate because after I saw it, I had almost immediately forgot everything that I had just watched. And in talking about it right now, it's hard to recall some of the major key components of the film. And I think that that's just one of the things that I would have to sort of convey in terms of what I feel as it relates to Nanny as a movie where, yes, there's some big heady ideas there, and it's absolutely worthwhile exploring those ideas. Just the overall execution feels like something that leaves a lot to be desired. It kind of feels like a missed opportunity in some aspects and in some respects. I do think that, for a first time feature debut for Nikyatu Jusu, this is an impressive overall first time feature length film. I think I think that her as a director has a promising career ahead of her. This just didn't add up completely to what I hoped it would be, especially upon hearing a lot about it on the internet. That's where I first heard about it, was just like a lot of the positive reception. And I do think that for certain demographics, for certain audiences that are kind of starved for this type of movie, they'll definitely gravitate towards it. I know that I'm just not in this particular space in my life right now to be that receptive to it. It's just like, I just kind of want more. Sometimes I just want some more simplistic storytelling in my movies. Or if you are going to go after some really big challenging ideas, maybe we can balance it out with something that packs a little bit more of an entertainment value type of punch. And I don't know if this was always an entertaining experience to watch. And I do think that the job of a movie or a TV series, first and foremost, is to entertain you. It can, of course, teach you things. It can be educational. It can be informative. But if it's not entertaining, I think you failed. And for me, I just wasn't that entertained by it, which is unfortunate because I had some high hopes coming into it. But I do look forward to whatever Nikyatu Jusu is going to do after this. I do want to tune into her career and see what her ascendancy hopefully looks like after this. But folks, those are our thoughts on the brand new horror film Nanny on Prime Video. If you've checked out this movie, definitely hit us up and let us know what you think.